Homeless advocate Eric Jonathan Sheptuck coming at you once again from in front of the CCNB shelter in Northwest Washington, D.C. I should tell you, there's nothing to see here. Things are pretty quiet. I haven't learned of any new COVID-19 cases or exposures in the last few days. I think that even the last few people actually didn't have it, but they thought they might have been exposed to it. But things have been real quiet for the last few days. I know I didn't do an update yesterday, but things are really settled down. The homeless tend to socially distance on the regular, so that's really not an issue here. Some non-homeless issues still exist. Shopping has become more difficult. I went by Walmart yesterday and I saw a line down the block of people trying to get in, including some homeless people who have a little bit of money and trying to get in and do their shopping. And there were dozens and dozens of people in line down the block by Walmart. I needed to get something from there, and I decided to forgo shopping at Walmart because of the line, and I went elsewhere. But that said, even though there's not much to say about COVID-19 at the CCNB shelter, there is a lot to say about what's happening in terms of the economy. I want to put people on notice that, in a manner of speaking, 2020 is 2008, 2021 is 2009, on and on. So we had the economic downturn in 2008. A lot of people lost their jobs. In the homeless service community, as late as 2013, we were still talking about the economic downturn, because what happened was that when the economy tanked, not everybody lost their job all at once. The layoffs went on for a while, on into 2009, and maybe even 2010. And then after people got laid off, then they still had some savings in many cases, and they spent their savings down, and then they went to family members' couch for a while, and then they showed up at the shelter. And so we were getting people who were the victims of the economic downturn of 2008 as late as 2013. So the effects lingered for about 5 years. So in 2020, we now have COVID-19, which began in the waning days of 2019. And the economy is going downhill again. In the last month, 22 million people have lost their jobs. The news said earlier this evening that in DC alone, which has a population of just over 700,000 people, that 66,000 people filed for unemployment last week, and 1/3 of those claims have been addressed at this point. So it's going to take a while to get around to all of them. But that said, we are at the beginning of a major economic downturn. Even when the virus is contained and we flatten the curve, as they say, we're still going to be dealing with the economic issues. We have farmers throwing out milk and destroying their crops in the fields because they're not selling, and I think that that's going to have some future repercussions. But even so, the larger economy is going to suffer for a while. These laid off people, folk are going to probably be laid off for the next several months. We know that the 349 billion that were given to the Small Business Administration to give out to small businesses that are suffering because of COVID-19. That money has already run out in about 2 weeks. There are some businesses that are not going to be able to get any money from this deal. Congress is considering another $250 billion for the SBA, but even that still might not be enough. So it's going to take a while for the economy to tank. The layoffs are going to continue for a while. People are going to spend down their savings. Then they're going to go to a relative's couch, and then they're going to report to the shelter. And so we may be dealing with the economic effects of COVID-19 well into 2024, 2025, if history is any indication. So all you have to do is subtract 12 from this year or any future year, and you can look back at the year 12 years prior, and you can kind of get a sense of what to expect. So like I said, 2020 is 2008 all over again. 2021 is going to be 2009 all over again, economically speaking. And I hope that our homeless service providers are preparing for this. They had an excuse in 2008 and even on into 2013. They didn't have reason to believe that the downturn would have an effect for so many years. But now we have some history to look back on. So let's hope that homeless service providers and other social service providers use what happened between 2008 and 2013 as an indication of what's going to happen between 2020 and 2025. But this time around, like I said, they have no excuse because we have this history which many of us were alive to witness, and hopefully they have the institutional memory to be able to go back and look at these sorts of things. They have documents, they have people who were working in their agency as far back as 2008 who can help them recollect the problems they had and the solutions they came up with. But that's kind of what's on my mind right now, and so this time around we're not flying blind, and I hope that we do the right thing. I'll leave it there.